This program is for chronic lateral ankle sprains. Now, we've all been playing basketball or stepping off a curb or running, and we tweak our ankle, we twist it inward, and that's the lateral ankle sprain. Now, typically the first one hurts really bad, but if you are a chronic ankle sprainer, you know that the first one puts you out for a while, but then you have another one and you can walk it off because it just doesn't hurt as bad as the first one. But you continue to sprain your ankle over and over and over again. This program is for you. Now, when you have a lateral ankle sprain, there's a few ligaments on the lateral side, so the outside of the foot, but the most commonly injured ligament is the anterior talofibula ligament, which goes from the fibula to the talus, and it sits like this. So this program is going to be specifically for that ligament and for generally the lateral or the outer ankle joint. Now, if you're a chronic ankle sprainer, I would suggest that you do see a therapist or a chiropractor because you may have what's called an out flare in your pelvis. So if I had my pelvis in my hand, the ilium, so if these are my two iliums, and this is my right ilium, and you're chronically spraining your right ankle, your right ilium may have gone into an in flare. What happens when you sprain your ankle, the fibula tends to shift upward because there's a tear or there's a sprain of the ligament down here holding the fibula, and that also impacts a ligament called the Barkow ligament, which is up here closer toward the knee joint, and that attaches from the fibula to the tibia. And what happens is when you do that, it releases the Barkow ligament and it releases through the biceps femoris of the hamstring into the sacrotuberous ligament and affects the pelvis. And now you go into an out flare of the ilium, and now what happens is the head of the fibula or the fibula stays stuck up, and you have less stability down here at the ankle. So that mortise joint at the ankle is less stable because the fibula is actually riding somewhat up a little bit. So if you're a person that's chronically spraining their ankles, you may need to go see a chiropractor or a physical therapist that knows how to adjust an out flare. If you don't have that, that's okay. This program is going to help you out. Here are my go-to exercises if you are a person that is chronically spraining your ankle and chronically injuring the outside or the lateral part of your foot. Okay, the beginning exercises are all about proprioception and awareness, and we're going to start with the lateral compartment of the knee. So to do the proprioception of the lateral knee, you're going to do a balancing exercise for 1 minute. Now the factors of progression are as follows. First thing is arms up, you're balancing. Once your knee stops quivering and you're really good at it, then when you let go of the object, you're going to bring your arms down. And then the third factor of progression is to be able to do that with your eyes closed. But in the beginning here, it's mandatory that you hold on to something that doesn't move. That's how you always are going to get set up. So I'm going to do, for the camera, I'm going to do the proprioception on the right knee. It's also mandatory that you're going to do both sides. So hold on to something that's not moving. You're going to start with doing a posterior pelvic tilt of your pelvis. So tuck your tail. And now we're going to erect the spine. You're going to push the crown of the head to the ceiling. Now I'm going to start down at my foot. I'm simply going to lift up my big toe. If your other toes come up, that's okay, but I'm trying to lift up my big toe. And what that does is that pushes the head of the first metatarsal down into the floor. From there, I'm going to push my cuboid into the floor. The cuboid is, just think of the outside arch of your foot. The cuboid is the bone right behind the base of the fifth metatarsal, behind the base of the fifth toe. So I'm going to push my cuboid down into the floor, the lateral arch, and now I'm going to push the medial calcaneus, the medial heel, into the floor. So I've created a tripod. The base of the first metatarsal is down by picking up the big toe, my lateral arch is down, and my medial heel is down. Now from here, again, I have my pelvis tucked. I'm pushing the crown of my head to the ceiling. I'm going to go ahead and bring the left leg up across my body like I've won the Heisman Trophy. From here, I'm going to drop my left pelvis down. So I'm going to take my pelvis, I'm going to drop it like that, and that's going to put tension on the IT band, okay? And then from here, before you let go, you're going to create a valgus of the knee. Now, a valgus of the knee is you're going to be knock-kneed. You're simply going to push your knee in like you're knocking your knees together. That's a valgus. John Wayne, bow-legged, would be a varus. You're going to do the opposite. So here we go. Holding on to something that doesn't move. Push the crown of the head to the ceiling. Spine is straight. Tuck the tail. Pick up the big toe. Push the outside arch down into the floor. Push the inside heel down into the floor. Bring this leg up across your body. And now I simply want you to bend your knee 5 to 10 degrees. And now you're going to push your knee into a valgus. You're going to drive your knee in. You're going to drop your pelvis away. So I'm dropping my left pelvis down. I'm all set up and I'm ready to go. Now I'm going to take my arm off the chair and I'm going to balance. And you're going to balance for 1 minute. And notice I'm going to take my left leg out of the way. Notice how my knee is quivering. You're going to get to the point where you're so good at this that your knee's not going to quiver anymore. Then when you let go of the chair, you bring your arms down along your side. You're going to get to the point where you're so good at that, once you let go of the chair, you're going to put your arms down and you're going to close your eyes. And that is a real big challenge. And that's how we do the proprioception of the lateral knee joint. Now, the next proprioception exercise for the ankle sprain, the chronic ankle sprain, is for the Barkow ligament. The Barkow ligament is a ligament that goes from the fibula to the tibia. It sits like this.